Welcome to Grand Sumo Breakdown,
the unofficial sumo podcast
for official sumo fans.
Welcome to Grand Sumo Breakdown. This is Ryan.
This is Jake.
This is Fleric.
and this is Mac.
And this is our Kyushu Bansuke preview episode. We're recording this a little bit earlier than we usually do. It's 8 days until the start of the Basho.
I thought you meant like in the morning.
I was about to say, well,
Well, also, yeah, typically
I mean,
we do these episodes in the evening.
Yeah.
So it is 11 a.m. our time, 8 days prior to the Basho. So in multiple ways, we're recording earlier than we usually do.
Also, can I just say, like, being in person are like, this is Jake, this is Matt. It's zippy. It's super quick and super flowy.
I like it.
We don't have to wait for each other on like a video call. It's kind of nice.
That's the only nice part about it.
Yes. Other than that, it's the worst having you in my home once again.
Just a reminder, after the Kyushu Basho, we are going to have our annual Rikishi popularity poll. This will be our third year doing it, so we'll see if there's anybody that can knock Teruno Fuji off of the top of the popularity list and see if there's somebody that can take over for Aoyama as the most hated Rikishi.
I'm going to have a little prediction on that. I'm going to think Abi is probably going to be one of the most hated, at least at this point.
I mean, he was the year prior before Aoyama, and he's done really nothing to ingratiate himself with people since
Yeah, that
then.
was pre-scandal. He was already most hated.
Yeah, the only reason Aoyama was most hated last year is because Abi was ineligible because he wasn't in
the top division. Okay.
That's
There you go.
right.
So yeah, start thinking about who your favorites and least favorites are. We had over 1,500 people participate last year. Hope to beat that number yet again this year.
That's like almost 1,500 times as many listeners as we get, too.
Yeah, exactly. Real impressive reach for the popularity poll only.
We'll also be doing our year-end award show after this Basho at some point. And regular reminder that we are going to be in Vegas for the North American Sumo Championships.
Yes, that will be taking place September, December 11th, unless I'm misremembering.
December 11th?
September, December.
He corrected himself.
Saturday, December 11th.
Oh, no, he didn't. Never mind. He's still confused.
Like, wait,
okay.
what?
Did I say
Yes.
September,
You
December?
said September,
Yes, you did.
December.
It's been a very rushed morning for me.
There's a reason we record these in the evening.
I am not in the proper headspace for this episode, so we'll see how it goes.
We were literally about to hit the button, and Ryan's like, I have forgotten all of my recording equipment.
Well, it's because it's been a very busy week, and I had to make the entire outline this morning while also taking care of my 1-year-old daughter. So
Yeah,
You
well,
can't use Rally for a crutch forever.
the outline
I
is
feel
mainly
like
for
I can for a little while, though. At least while she's an infant, I can still use her as a pretty good crutch.
Fair.
All right, let's get to our Patreon compliments. So we're gonna mix it up a little bit. How we used to do it was every single tournament, we'd at least get each of our patrons their own personalized compliment. We're up to having to come up with 39 compliments for each of our patrons that aren't like our wives or ourselves.
Right. There is so much more support than we could have
Which,
ever expected.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah. And so it's really hard to come up with 234 unique and, most importantly, good compliments per year. So what we are going to do is we're going to split up. We're going to have one compliment for a third of our patrons each Basho. So on this episode, we're going to thank 1/3 of our patrons, give them one overlapping compliment that it's just going to be the finest compliment you could ever hope for. But
Let's not promise too much here.
But in
You're
addition,
getting exactly what you pay for with your $1 contribution.
$1. But since we're grouping them all together, should it be a $13 quality compliment?
I don't know if I'm that creative to come up with those, though.
What's a $13 compliment?
Why don't we get on with it, though?
Yeah, but
so
in addition to that, if it's your first time being a patron and your first time eligible for a compliment, we will give you a personalized shout out.
just to get you hooked.
Yes, as everyone before you has gotten at least one personalized compliment, we're going to make sure everybody gets at least one personalized compliment before we just lump them
This is
together
what the
with
people
everybody
came to
else.
listen to, is
Yes.
the rules of the compliment
minutia.
distribution.
So, Fleric, why don't you give our first compliment to a new patron this Basho?
All right, new patron Willie Yan. Don't tell anyone, but you're secretly our favorite listener.
Already. That's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I like how you winked at me and not like at the camera or something.
I don't
was
think you knew
only
which
for
camera
you.
to go into there.
I'm also pretty offended because
I'm not
usually,
Willie on.
usually Flarrick's winks are reserved for me, and so I'm feeling a little.
Yeah. It's if we can
So
just
Willie,
like
enjoy that.
if you could just put like a mirror in front of your face, Jake, that'd be great. Then I could be looking
Imaginary.
right into the eye,
Ooh.
Yeah.
and then we'll be good to go.
Noosa Porter, Stephen Ward. We'd go along with one of your punishments.
And
That tone made that much worse.
Well, we got to get him hooked.
all right, and new patron Rod Lunsford, former enemy of the podcast. If you listen to the Kyushu Bansuke preview episode, he turned his tune around real quick after after listening to the Bansuke review
After
episode.
getting called out.
And
Yes.
has since sent us a follow-up email proclaiming me as the king of the Bansuke, and the reason he cheers against me is because I always win. I'm like the Tom Brady of the podcast. So Rod Lunsford,
Wow.
because of that immense sucking up, you are now the king of the patrons.
You're leaning toward the Aaron Rodgers.
I was gonna
point
say, yeah,
right-
the Aaron
right now.
Rodgers
Dude,
of
no.
listeners.
I got the ego, but I'm also just got my third vaccine shot this
Okay.
week, so I
All
don't
right.
think you can lump me in with Aaron Rodgers.
Fair enough.
I have no horse tranquilizers inside of me.
I would
we
say
know
I
of.
don't think you understand that properly, but neither does anyone taking it. And also to our other patrons, thank you so much for supporting the show. Warehouse Rat, Dave Rodriguez, The Ethnic Mix-Up, Beth Corner,
Comer.
Comer.
That's an
My
M.
font is kind of strange. Quinn Deeds, Casey Mustang, Jen Blackmore, Anna Tsukahara, Alex Hearn, and Glenn Otto. You guys are the last thing we think about before we go to bed at night and the first thing we think about when we wake up in the morning.
Yep. I didn't realize the Arial font was so exotic to you.
Shut up. Shut up. That's all you get from me.
It's no papyrus. I'll say that.
I am going to make this super big now
I want Sanskrit.
so that my ancient eyes can read it.
I want wingdings. That's what I need.
There you go. Learn how
You
to
realize if I
read
change the
wingdings.
font here, it's going to change it on your screen too and confuse you.
Can
I'm
you
the one
not
who
read?
came up with it, so I'll remember what's on here. You guys will be the one that's in trouble.
All right, whatever.
All right. And now we're going to go to B for our recap of the Aki Basho. Wait, hold on. We don't have B's voicemail yet.
What?
So I think, do we fire him?
I'm not sure we hired him ever.
Also, we didn't tell him that we were recording not only 8 days prior to the podcast, but in the morning. So it's earlier than usual. So he didn't know to send the recap.
Oh man, I hope the guys don't record in the morning because then I won't have my voicemail in. Oh well, a little shaming. Maybe he can catch us up on the midway or something.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Or if somehow he magically gets it to us before Jake edits it, I'm going to leave a little
He's got
moment
5 or 6 days for that,
Yep.
so we'll see.
Here's a moment of silence for Jake to easily edit the voicemail into. And if all you heard was silence, we didn't get the voicemail yet, so you'll hear it on the midway. All right.
But you got us with jazz hands.
Yeah.
Eh.
All right. So we're going to have a Kyushu Basho, which that means it is taking place in Fukuoka, and that is the first time since 2019, as in 2020, the November Basho. Last year, had to be held-
Fukuoka, also the Honan region in Pokemon, which is from Gen 3. It was based off of that area.
Poke fact.
Pokefact.
You know what? We need a lot of Poke facts because Pokemon is getting involved in Sumo now.
Oh god, that's
So would
Yes.
say.
That's a very relevant fact from.
excellent segue
Flarrick.
before we actually talk about any real sumo here.
No problem.
And I really hope Flarrick secretly looked up a bunch of Pokemon facts and he can just sneak into these episodes.
I'm
Slyly
spoiler,
takes out his
no.
phone.
Yep.
But yeah, so obviously due to COVID, all the Bashos were being held in Tokyo. At this point for this tournament, we haven't heard any news about any Heiyas needing to be held out due to COVID. We haven't seen any reported cases of Rikishi testing positive for COVID between the Basho. So far, everything's looking pretty good.
8 days out, looking good.
We got a week for all of this to become invalid, which is typically the case. But
Yeah, yeah.
actually,
It's happened
Hakuho
before.
retired. And Kakuya retired, so a lot of the things that made our predictions null and void are
That's a good
gone.
point.
Also
so
true.
we might be held to a higher standard of quality now.
Rip Terunofuji.
yeah.
Oh, no.
But also, in addition to them traveling out to Fukuoka for this tournament, Japan has also eased their spectator attendance limit. So events in Japan can now have 5,000 spectators or 50% of the venue capacity, whichever is larger. And large-scale events are now allowed to accept more than 10,000 spectators, which I'm assuming this isn't considered a large-scale event since they never had up to 10,000 spectators.
10,000 sounds like roughly 50%
I'm guessing that'd be like
anyways, right?
soccer or a baseball stadium.
Sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, like sumo scale events, yeah, we're probably talking 10 to 20 anyways, right?
So yeah, I'm guessing 50% of the venue is what we'll be seeing here, which is a lot better than what we have been seeing.
Yeah, have we been at 25% or something?
5,000, which I think is
5,000,
probably
yeah.
roughly 25 to 33% of the Kokuki-Con. All right, now let's actually talk about the sumo. So we start, as always, with our Yokozuna, and as we mentioned on the Bansuke preview or recap, we expected Hakuho to still be listed here because he did not turn in his retirement. It was not official until after the Bansuke was made, and so we expected Hakuho to still be Yokozuna West, but obviously not here. But there is no Yokozuna West this tournament, but there's still only 41 Rikishi in the Makuuchi division. They did not add another spot for Hakuho.
All right.
So,
who got bumped?
well, if somebody...
Who did Hakuho decide to just
Who
screw over
who
one
would
more
have been in
time?
the top
who would have
division?
been
Yeah.
number 42?
Shiryo 1 East, it's Tsurugisho.
Yeah.
So Tsurugisho would have dropped from like Maegashira 13 to Maegashira 18 East is the spot that would have been there.
Gotcha.
Wow.
But our guess for why Hakuho is not on the Bansuke is because they are avoiding listing him twice on the Bansuke, because he would be listed once as a Rikishi as Yokozuna West, but then he'd also be listed at the bottom as Magaki Oyakata.
Which is somehow a bad thing. So we can't have
I
that.
mean, there's
How
only
is that
one
bad?
person, so how can you have one person be two different people, Hakuho and Magaki? It's impossible, Jake.
You're right. I'm sorry. I forgot that you can only write the same name on a piece of paper one time before you're legally required to do something different.
Did they do the same thing with Kisuno Sato? Kisuno Sato before it became Araiso Oyakata?
Well, he retired in time. I I think he retired,
He retired like
mid-Basho.
yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, they had time to.
By the
kick
next
his ass off
Bansuke,
the
he was
Bansuke.
like totally not there, but they didn't like leave a hole. In
That's
the
what I was
Bansuke,
trying to
yeah.
remember. It's like there wasn't a hole when Kisuno Sato retired.
I definitely don't recall this happening before, but I mean, in the couple of years that we've been watching and reporting on it, but I don't know.
Every Yokozuna we've seen retire, Haruma Fuji, Kiseno Sato, Kakuryu, they all retired mid-Basho.
Oh, that's a good
Hakuho's
point.
the only one that did it at the end, and apparently the paperwork didn't get filed until
Gotcha.
after the deadline.
Damn the paperwork.
Yeah. So
And Asashoryu very clearly did not become an Oyakata, so they did not have to worry about that.
yeah. So our sole Yokozuna for the Kyushu Basho is going to be Teruno Fuji, and he could be sole Yokozuna for a while. Doesn't really seem like there's anybody threatening to jump up to the Yokozuna ranks unless Shodai or Takakeisho just decide to go nuts for a couple of tournaments here. But
Not looking good.
based on past history,
Not looking good.
not looking
Yeah,
great.
it's that whole 2 in a row thing that's going to kill Takakeisho's chances, and it's the whole anything other than that one Yusho that's going to kill Shodai's chances.
Sorry to all you Shodai fans out there.
All both of you. Yeah, I'm looking at Shodai. I was thinking, he did pretty good. He had like an 11-4 and a 13-2 back to back, which were like June U shows at the time. Obviously, he was like Maegashira. I was just thinking, if he had that performance as an Ozeki, would that be good enough? And I don't think an 11-4 June U show, and even if that 13-2 turned out to be a U show, I don't think that'd be good enough for Yokozuna promotion.
Yeah, I mean, when we were deep in the Hakuho era, maybe they'd relax it a little bit, the requirements to get to Yokozuna, but I don't see anybody getting there without 2 Yusho.
Also,
these days.
they
Agreed.
probably desperately want to. They have 2 Ozeki right now, and once again, nobody really threatening all that hard
Yeah.
to become a new Ozeki. So they're probably like, hey, we kind of really need 2 Ozeki on the Bansuke.
Just maintain. Just maintain.
So let's just maintain the status
Just sit
quo
tight.
unless they absolutely need it. Yeah. But yeah, so Teruno Fuji, Sole Yokozuna, probably will be for a little bit. But he's also on a pretty good hot streak right now. So he has gotten 6 straight Basho with a Yusho or a June Yusho. The 17th Yokozuna to have that sort of streak out of 73. So that's kind of a premier
bad.
thing all in its own, as well as just becoming a Yokozuna. And this is the first hot streak that we've seen like this in 6 years, since Hakuho's streak of 19 ended in 2015.
Which is the second longest streak ever.
Behind
After
Hakuho's
Behind
Hakuho's,
Hakuho again.
behind his other one.
yeah. So I'm not going to read out all the different streaks. There's 20 different streaks of 6 straight Basho with a Yusho or Jun Yusho done by 17 Yokozuna. But just kind of things that I noticed, of those 20 streaks, 16 of them were between 6 to 8 Basho. So unless Terunofuji is going to be the quality of somebody that wins 20 Basho, like Takanohana, Kita no Umi, or Hakuho twice, the odds are his streak is going to come to an end within the next couple of Basho.
6 to 8 is kind of the limit, unless you're some sort of god.
Yeah, the only people that have gone more than 8 are, did I say their names? Kita no Umi, Takanohana, and Hakuho?
I think so.
Like I said, it's been a very bad morning for me.
Yeah, I was about to say.
There is also several guys show up multiple times. Like
Taiho.
Futabayama, unsurprising names to have show up on this list.
Yeah. But Chio no Fuji, the guy with the 3rd most wins of all time, he only had one such streak, and that ended at 6. So Teruno Fuji, if he gets a Jun Yusho or Yusho this tournament, could get past Teruno or Chio no Fuji on that streak list. So
For this specific stat.
yeah, it'll be interesting to see how far he can push it. It just, looking at the Bansuke as it stands now, it really feels like, okay, who is going to challenge Teruno Fuji? He's just like head and shoulders above everybody else, even the Ozeki.
Physically and in skill level.
Yeah, like even the Ozeki, none of us are really thinking, all right.
Yeah,
maybe
there's-
Takakeisho can pop off and get a Yusho.
I was going to say, there's some history with Takakeisho, like challenging Teruno Fuji, but he just hasn't been in form for a little bit.
Yeah,
Right.
but even then, Teruno Fuji's probably going to get the Jun Yusho if Takakeisho gets the
Yeah.
Yusho.
Yeah.
So for this streak to end, 2 people have to do better, like
people
outright
have to
better.
pop
Like
off,
even if
yeah.
he tied for second, he would still get the Jun Yusho the way that is set up. So like, yeah, it was so weird. For so long we were like, oh man, once Hakuho retires, everything's going to be wide open. And it's kind of not.
Really.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Yeah, we can see, like, the Ozeki definitely were in the slump. If they get back to form, I think we might see something a little bit different.
Yeah, but getting both in form on the same tournament would be difficult.
That might be a tall order. We'll see.
So, Jake, what, if anything, will keep Teruno Fuji from extending this streak to 7 this tournament?
I mean, I'm not going to say injury because I've said that enough times in enough straight Basho, and obviously he's now on like a historic streak, so like, no, I'm not going to say that. I think the only thing would be Takakeisho, who does occasionally, beat the crap out of Teruno Fuji. It's been shown to happen.
Takakeisho's won multiple Yusho.
Yes.
Yep. So I think one, Takakeisho has to do very well, and then second, I think we need a surprise contender or something, because like there's nobody except for Teruno Fuji and Takakeisho, if he's healthy, that we know is going to be like top contention, right? So I think for Teruno Fuji's streak to end without an injury, Takakeisho has to get a Yusho, and then we got to have somebody like last time it was Miyogiryu from Maegashira 10 going 11-4.
Yeah.
We need whoever the surprise Maegashira is to also be like, at least good enough to get more wins than Teruno Fuji, because you can't really expect a Maegashira to beat him like pretty much ever, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Unless
will,
you're Tokushoryu.
I will I will throw out that he's now Yokozuna, so he's kind of has that little mantle of if he doesn't show up like the first handful of days, he actually probably will go step out of the tournament.
Kyujo.
That's the word. Thank you. I kept thinking Intai, like he's just going to retire. It's like, that's
No,
not the word.
Intai.
I lost 2 straight matches.
Yeah.
Gotta go.
Gotta
I
go. We're
So
out.
it's normally like they were like Yokozuna like further along. We saw this a lot with Hakuho and other people. Like people who were further along their career had nothing to prove. Teruno Fuji might not actually feel that way, but that is also, I would say that's probably one of the more likely scenarios of where he has a really bad start. We saw some very close matches last time. He came out on top of them because he's just very good at closing those out. But if some of those go the wrong way in the beginning, he just kind of goes, maybe he just feels maybe not 100%. He can just take that Yokozuna, just Kyujo, and like just take the Basho off that he's deserved, that he's earned.
Yeah.
For what it's worth, his first 2 matches are likely to be like maybe the Komasubis.
Kiribayama and Daieisho.
Ichinojo.
No, It'll be the Komusubi West. Kiribayama will be his day 1, and
Okay.
then he'll start with the Maegashira 1. So it'll be
Gotcha.
Kiribayama and then Daisho.
So Kiribayama, he's 4-0 against him. So that likely to continue the
likely.
trend. Daisho actually did beat him last Basho.
Yep,
so
that was
there's
one of the ones he dropped.
that was the one Kinboshi he gave up last time.
He is 5-3 against Daisho. So maybe, there's a
possible.
shot. But yeah, I mean, it would have to be something like that, which would probably be due to an injury for him to lose right away.
So that brings me to a question I wanted to ask everybody. So since Terunofuji became an Ozeki for 3 Basho, the earliest he has lost a match is day 9.
Oh, Jesus.
So do you think that streak continues this tournament? Will Terunofuji have a loss in week 1 of the Basho? Mac, what do you think?
Are we counting Fusen? Are we counting if he gets injured and then just like, okay, I pull
Well,
out?
do you think it'll happen, though?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, I think he's gonna be okay.
I'll go on the record and agree. Yeah, I think his toughest matches are... There's other than maybe Daisho, who he's still probably a pretty decent sized favorite against. His first week's not going to be as bad.
So yeah, let's take a look at the first week of matches that we'd expect. So Kiribayama, Daisho, Wakataka Kage. Onosho has given him trouble in the past. I think Takanosho has given him trouble in the past. And then Okinoumi, Myogiryu. And if you want to be generous and include day 8 in the first week, Takada Fuji.
he is 2-4 against Onosho lifetime.
Ooh,
So there's like
There's an
the
opening.
I
three-
did not know that.
Besides Takakeisho, I think the 3 other people that have given him the most trouble since he's come up are Daisho, Onosho, and Takanosho.
Yeah,
So-
I'll go on the record and say that I think he is going to drop a match in the first week. Just mostly because it's so hard to wait until all the way to day 9. That's really tough to do. There's
Yeah,
no
that's
way
true.
he does it again.
4-4 against Takanosho.
Oh wow.
Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Fleric. I think the 3 guys that have given him trouble, he's got to face those within the first 5 days. Obviously, he's not gonna drop all 3 of those matches, but I think one of them could
It's
start.
possible you get one.
Could get one. So I'm gonna say I think Terunofuji has a loss in week 1 of the tournament, and if he does, that'll just make things a lot more exciting the whole way through. Because
Oh, for sure.
and then just what do we all think Terunofuji's record will be this Basho? We'll start with Fleric on that one.
I don't know. 13-2.
Fleric very dedicated to this 13-2 record. He feels
Yeah.
very strongly about it.
I think he's going to get more wins than everyone else. That's my prediction.
I said it last time. I'm going to go with it again. He's pretty consistent at the 13 or 12 win level. I'm going to go with the 12 win this time. Think maybe not quite as good as the previous Basho.
Considering we just talked about his toughest matchups.
Zen
It's
show.
going to be like
Zen
12 or
show.
13.
Zen
Like
show.
that's what we're debating
You know,
between, right?
I'm gonna go a little wild. I'm gonna say 14-1. I think he's gonna drop one.
You're crazy. I do not.
I
agree
am
with you,
crazy.
but I appreciate it.
How could you possibly think he would win one more match than I think he will win?
I'm going to say 12.
Wow, you're not going to be unique and go either 15-0 or 11-4.
Zen show.
I don't
Zen
care what you
show.
guys pick. I'm picking what I think is correct. So
right.
shut up. He has gotten 12 wins. Oh, well, okay, never mind. He's gotten 2 Yusho at 13-2. And then there's the 14-1. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll stick with 12 though.
All right.
I'm just doing it to be different. Do I think it's going to be literally 12 or 13? Absolutely. But I'm like, all right, I'll just go one more. Why
I mean,
not?
he's gotten 14-1 before, just 2 Basho ago, so there's no reason to think he can't against basically the same exact competition minus Hakuho. So I don't know why anybody isn't taking the 15-0. It seems obvious.
But one of the things that I one of the things that I like about Terunofuji though is even though he's been around, even though he's not quite to the caliber of Hakuho, you don't quite know what's going to happen with his matches. I mean, yes, he's got great records against some people, but that level of refinement to his technique isn't there. You can see the gaps in his armor, and you can see other Rikishi trying to go in and fix, like, oh, hang on, he's going to do this, or he's going to react like this. It's not as refined as some of the other Yokozuna, so there are openings for them to take advantage of. That's why I can't discount that. But
Yeah.
I love watching Terunofuji figure that out as he's doing it. So
Yeah.
I think all his matches are exciting.
I know he's good, but he's not Hakuho good.
Exactly.
Yeah. Makes for better matches entertainment-wise, but yeah.
Yeah, this having Hakuho gone will finally give us a realistic look at sumo wrestling, because Hakuho is not a realistic look at sumo wrestling.
We've been stunted in like our growth by just having him around at all times.
Yeah.
like our knowledge of the sport would be better if it was. Yeah, I know what you mean.
We just need to stop comparing people to Hakuho. Like Teruno Fuji, like we just said, out of like Haruma Fuji, Kakuryu, Kisei no Sato, none of them have had a streak like he has had, and all we're doing is saying, well, he's not as good as Hakuho. Nobody will be. We should stop.
Yeah.
We just need to do ourselves a favor and just not compare anybody to Hakuho, because they'll never live up to it.
Yeah, that 6 streak that he had, if you discount the people that are basically on Sumo Mount Rushmore, the last time somebody did that was Takano Sato. Like that's a name that we don't hear a lot, but like since then, Chino Fuji did it, Takano Hana did it, Asashoryu, Hakuho. Those are really big names. This is a really big deal of a streak, and that. We have to go back into like the early 80s to find a guy that we haven't like extensively studied.
Right.
Akebono didn't do it. Wakano Hana didn't do it. Musashi Maru didn't do it. I always get him, Musashi Maru, Musashi Kuni mixed up in my head. But Musashi Maru was
Musashi
a Yokozuna.
Kuni definitely didn't do that.
No. All right. Let's dive a little bit deeper into our Ozeki here. So it's been kind of sparse on like training news going into this tournament. I haven't seen anything, so I'm going to assume that's good news and that everybody is going to be competing. So it sounds like Shodai and Takakeisho will be entering their 7th and 12th consecutive Bashos as an Ozeki. Takakeisho is 14th overall, but obviously he dropped down to Sekiwake one time. Not a whole lot of drama going on with either of them right now. Neither is Kadoban, and neither is writing a Yusho or Jun Yusho like equivalent for them to be in possible contention for a Yokozuna promotion. So both of them will be Ozeki in Hatsu 2022. So Fleric, what is your current excitement level for these two Rikishi? Like, do you look forward to their matches, or because they've been kind of not as impressive, do they just kind of fade into the background of the Basho for you?
Are you asking me how excited I am for Shodai?
About both of them.
For the listeners, as Ryan was asking this question, Fleric just started shaking his head and laughing.
I was just thinking about the Shodai.
Takakeisho's in there too.
Yeah. No. It's you're right, Ryan, because Takakeisho is in there, and that is just enough to give me a resounding yes. They're definitely going to be paying attention to him because Takakeisho, he's number 2 when he's healthy. And the big question going into his tournament, I think, is like, is he going to be healthy? You know, last time, like, it was definitely not informed, but he had another 2 months to kind of rest up. It's possible he might feel like he needs to rest up a little bit more, so he might just kind of fall out. But that's going to be the big question: is he going to be coming in to be contender, or is he just going to be able to take another one off and hopefully come back in January in good top form?
Yeah, but what about Shodai?
He's there. Definitely background. Obviously, he's very skilled, and I think he could definitely do pretty well. If he
ringing
shows up.
endorsement.
Yeah, totally. Nothing but confidence.
Yep. It just depends which Shodai shows up. That's always been the case.
Yeah. What about for you guys? Do you guys, like, since they've been fairly mediocre for their past 3 or 4 Basho, like, do you get excited? Ooh, Takakeisho's on, really excited to see this match. Or, ooh, Shodai's on, he's Ozeki, really excited to see this match. Or is it just like, all right, whatever?
I would say I'm more excited to see Takakeisho than Shodai. I think there's a lot of potential there with Takakeisho. I think he can go even further, maybe hit the Yokozuna level. I don't know if I can say the same for Shodai.
Yeah. For me, I like Takakeisho more. Just pure personal preference, I guess. But Shodai is must-see television, just because of like
for the entertainment value.
For the
alone.
entertainment value, yes. So I'm excited in that sense, I'll say. But yeah, I until we see Takakeisho in better shape than he was last tournament, I mean, I can't really get too excited like from a Yusho winning kind of perspective, I guess.
Yeah, you gotta use like prior form to kind of inform how they're going to do this time.
And especially with little training news, we're just pure speculating.
Yeah,
we could say for every guy in the Bonsuke, if he's healthy, I think he could do well, right?
As we used to do.
Yeah.
And will do in the future.
Correct.
Oh, yeah.
Oh no, we're
That
not
is
getting
very
away
On
from
this
that.
episode, probably.
Yes.
But yeah, Takakeisho and like I guess a little bit of Shodai, they definitely have high highs, so it's definitely a little bit more of an eye on them.
And Shodai has the low lows.
I think more likely than not, at least one of them is going to do pretty well.
Yeah.
And whatever.
Yeah, I think for Takakeisho more than Shodai, the first couple of days are going to tell us how good he's going to be because the previous tournament, he was coming off that neck injury. He started off 0-3, and it was ugly 0-3. It didn't look like the Takakeisho with like the super strength and just able to push somebody back and control them.
Yeah.
So we could tell Takakeisho was off. He was able to rally, win 7 out of 8 to maintain his Ozeki status, but then you could see that he completely just gave up after that, lost his next 3 matches, and was not trying as hard in those matches.
Yeah. I mean, granted, it was Miyagiryu who was on an absolute hot streak.
Oh, yeah.
Terunofuji, I guess I can give somebody credit. Okay, fine. He lost to Terunofuji, whatever. And Mitake Yumi, who he's like basically on par with Lifetime.
Yeah.
So, like, I guess. But those
the
first
effort,
3 days.
But the effort level in those last 3 matches wasn't matching what we were seeing for him to get to that Kachikoshi status. So I think if he comes out on fire the first couple of days, we'll know, okay, he's healthy, he's feeling good, he's not going to have to press for the Kachikoshi. Shodai can come... I don't know what Shodai's going to do because he can come out and be amazing, start off really well, and then fade, or he could also do very poorly and just stay doing very poorly.
that storyline could happen within each match, even. Like,
But that's what makes Shodai so entertaining is you don't know what's going to happen because we've seen these spurts of, oh, that is outstanding, fantastic performance, and then not so much.
Yeah.
Where it's like, what the hell was that? What are you doing?
We've definitely... I mean, last point I wanted to make on Takakeisho is we've seen that, like, gamesmanship from him in the past where, like, 8 wins, okay, I quit. You know, like, that's...
I met my requirement, we're good.
He's not above that, you know, and I think that's probably the best for somebody who's proven to be a bit of a lemon injury-wise, right?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I hope that he does well, but yeah, I could totally see if he's having a rough go of it, he'll manage to get to 8 wins and then just coast.
Yeah. All right, so... want to play a little game of what's more likely for both of these guys. So we're not going to give the middling option. It's not available. You can't choose. They're going to go 8 and 7 through 10 and 5. No, they're either going to be Kadoban or Jun Yusho for Shodai.
Whoa.
Hey.
Which is more likely? That's all.
What's more likely? We're not saying it's going to happen. Just what's more likely. So for Shodai, for me, I'm going to say Kadoban is more
Seconded.
likely. Yeah. I don't know. Is there anybody that thinks it's more
I'll go
likely?
Jun Yusho.
You think so?
I think so.
More likely than 7 or worse?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I mean, to Shodai's credit, he does have 3 straight winning records as an Ozeki, 9 and 6, 8 and 7, and 8 and 7. Mac, what do you think?
I'm going to go with the Jun Yusho. I don't think Kadoban's likely for him. Only because Kadoban's in there. Like, I don't think it's going to be Kadoban.
Of the 2 extremes.
Of the 2 extremes, I'm
I'll go with
leaning
the
toward the
positive
positive.
one.
If option 3 is 8 and 7, yes, I would
Oh,
have
yeah,
to.
totally.
Obviously take that.
That's why we eliminated it from the game.
Exactly, yep.
All right, what about Takakeisho? So we know the last we saw him, he was struggling with that neck injury. What's more likely for him, Jun Yusho or Kadoban? Jake?
Kadoban.
Wow, negative.
I know it's negative. I don't want to be negative. I just think that's more likely.
Jake's just doing his sadness hedge.
Yep.
Well, I'm going to trim those hedges as well because I'm going Kadoban on that. Just because of the injury. Like, I just want him to be healthy and come back great for next year.
Well, I'm going Jun Yusho for Takakeisho. I always feel he's always got that 12 and 3. Just it's in there once or twice a year. This is the last chance for him to have a second 12 and 3 this year. So I gotta believe in my boy Takakeisho.
You fool! He already has his 1, so you know that he's destined to fall.
Gamesmanship, Ryan.
Gamesmanship, yeah. I don't think he's gonna go Kadoban, but I just do not see a Jun Yusho coming out this time around, so I gotta go Kadoban as well.
All right, so we're higher on Shodai this tournament than we are Takakeisho.
Wow, that's bad.
Doesn't feel good.
Anybody want to change their vote now that we know we have Shodai ranked higher?
No, let's move on so I can feel better about things.
All right. Let's talk about our junior Sanyaku, the Sekiwake and Komosubi. Looks a lot the same as it was last time. You're going to have Mitake Yumi, Meisei, and Ichinojo. The only change is we're going to have Kiribayama in there instead of Takayasu. So Mitake Yumi, he's doing pretty good right now. He's on his second best consecutive Kachikoshi streak of his career with 5 in a row. His previous best was 7 Kachikoshi in a row from 2017 to 2018. So he is riding a bit of a hot streak. He hasn't had a losing record in a little while. Meisei is riding a 7 Basho Kachikoshi streak in the top division. That's the second best current streak besides Terunofuji, who has 8 straight winning records in the top division.
Out of 8?
Yes. And Ichinojo has had Kachikoshi in 7 out of the last 6 Basho since he returned from Juryo.
Flip that.
What did I say?
7 out of 6.
7 out of 6.
He's been really good, you guys.
One of them counted twice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or 6 out of 7, whichever you
For
prefer.
those of you that can math.
Yeah. I've been struggling with math for the past few weeks, and I don't know what's been going on, but
Don't worry. We
It's
won't let
okay.
you get away with even
It's
the most minor of
okay.
mistakes.
I appreciate
That's why we're here.
And then we also have Kiribayama, who is making his Sanyaku debut, and a little bit, I feel like this is a little bit of an anomaly, but he's the only Rikishi that's at his career high ranking this entire Basho, is Kiribayama.
What on
Everybody
earth?
in the Maegashira
Holy
ranks
cow.
has already been there, done that, and been higher up on the Bansuke.
Good for him.
So, yeah, the only person that is reaching new heights this tournament is Kiribayama.
That is very strange.
Yeah. So, Mac, with the exception of Kiribayama, all of the junior Sanyaku Rikishi have been fairly steady over the past year. I mentioned how well they've been doing and getting Kachikoshi, but all of them have been between 8 and 10 wins, so nothing that dramatic. So, which out of the 4 junior Sanyaku Rikishi that we have will break that streak and have an 11-plus win Basho, and which one do you think will break that streak in the other direction and have a 5 or less win Basho?
Ooh. So I based off these notes here. Am I omitting Kiribayama from this? Or am I
You
just
can
picking-
include him if you
Oh,
want.
okay. I can include them. Knowing that, because I was totally ready to just go between the 3, Mitaki Yumi being Escanor and Ichinojo being Snorlax and Meisei being
I love
the
it.
young rider. I'm like, all right, because I haven't figured out a likeness from Meisei yet. I was going to go, well, Meisei will continue that streak. But no, if Kiribayama's in there, I think Kiribayama's got it. No offense to Meisei, but in this case, I like what I'm seeing from Kiribayama. I think he's got a lot of potential. I like his ring sense. I like a lot of his matches. I think he can definitely go forward in that direction.
All right. Who do you think goes backwards? Who do you think of these 4 is most likely to have a poor performance here?
For that, it's got to be Ichinojo. I'm sorry. It's one of those to where when he's on, he's okay. But when he's off, he is not good.
He's hard to back. You know.
That's why I
He
compare him
back
to
would be do
Snorlax.
well.
It's one of those like, okay, when he's on, he's great. He's a very powerful Pokemon in his own right. Very few people can go against him. And when he's off and you don't have a Pokeflute, you're in trouble. You can't get him to move.
Gotta
Yeah.
get that Pokeflute.
You got to get that Pokeflute.
Yeah.
Yep.
He got that 8 and 7, but only just barely got the Kachikoshi, so just 8 wins.
I know.
Yep.
He was
It's hard
that
to see.
chump.
Yeah, you won anyways because you had Terunofuji.
Well, yeah, I kind of did that.
Yeah.
My own little gamesmanship.
I agree. Ichinojo, I think, is the most likely, in my opinion, the most likely to have a really tough one. And Mitaki Yumi, he's just going to keep chugging.
Yep.
Meisei and Kiribayama seem pretty volatile. I'll go with Meisei. He seems like he might be turning a corner and become an elite. I'll say that he's the most likely to pop off and have a great one.
Mm-hmm.
You say Meisei the most volatile, coming off of 9 and 6, 9 and 6, 8
He
and 7.
feels the
10 and
most
5.
volatile.
8 and 7, 8 and 7,
Yeah.
8 and 7.
But a lot of those were from Mike Shearer 10, Mike Shearer 7.
I think
But-
he's the most volatile, like in the ring, day to day.
Okay.
Like, yeah, record wise, sure, whatever. But like, I think that I think that both of those guys are wild enough that they could, Takakeisho style, like have a great tournament and then do exactly the same thing next time, and
Yes.
it's bad,
Yes.
whatever.
Yeah.
There you go. So this is an interesting tournament because before, normally when we look to the Yokozuna and Ozeki to kind of see, okay, these are going to be the contenders for stuff. Obviously, Yokozuna, Terunofuji is the favorite, but Ozeki is looking a little bit weak. So honestly, I'm kind of looking towards the Sanyaku and the really top joy of just kind of seeing these are probably going to be the people stepping up and doing pretty well.
We hope.
And
We hope anyway.
yeah, we hope it's it's Sumo. It's best of one. Like I like to keep saying, there's so much that can go wrong that can lose you or win you a sumo match. So it's definitely very exciting. But these are the people I'm kind of looking towards, and I think we talked about Kiribayama. I forget what the original question was.
Who's going to go of the four? Who do you think is going to go forward in the streak? Between Mitake Yumi, Ichinojo, Meisei, or Kiribayama?
Well,
so who do you think can go up?
Who's most likely to pop off and have 11 or more wins this Basho?
Yes.
Most likely.
Whatever. 11 more wins. I guess of these people, I think who are probably going to do pretty well. I'm definitely looking at Kiribayama. He had a very solid Basho last time, and it's just he's like still young, kind of figuring himself out. He has kind of that body for like a nice, consistent Yotsu Sumo kind of guy. Like he's kind of big. He has like some nice long arms.
He's not spinning every match anymore.
He's not spinning every match. He's kind of his Oyakata has trained that out of him or something like that.
Stop your spinning.
Or Kakuryu.
Yeah. It's interesting. Ichinojo, we've talked about why we just don't know what's going on with that guy. But you can't discount Mitake Yumi. This is Yisho winning Mitake Yumi as well. So,
but we've gotten our hopes pinned on him before and been sorely mistaken.
That's true.
That's why I have taken the stance of never expecting anything from Mitake Yumi, and I will continue that streak.
It feels like if there was somebody else that had two Yushos, that it was a Sekiwake regular. This Basho looks wide open for them. But it's Mitake Yumi, and I feel like between 7 and 9 wins is basically a lock.
Yeah.
It's very possible I'm wrong, of course, but like it just doesn't feel like he just doesn't feel like a promising, exciting person to pick to do well, right?
Yeah,
we've just seen who he is for so many years in a row, so.
It's so interesting because in my head, like you're entirely right. Like he's just so so inconsistent, but he's not yet like Shodai levels for me or Ichinojo. So I have like a little bit of hope for him. I'm not sure why.
Will he win another Yusho in his career? Probably, I would say.
Probably,
but like
it has to be in the summer.
Until it happens, I'm going to continue.
This is why I compared it to Escanor, because of the waxing and the waning of the seasons.
But until it happens, I'm not going to pick for it to happen.
Okay.
Escanor, for those who don't know, is an anime character.
It's not a
From
Pokemon.
7 Deadly Sins.
I think he does good when the sun's out.
Yes, he is the sin of pride.
All right, so I guess to kind of close my thoughts of those 4 people, I am probably looking most towards Kiribayama, but I think it's definitely wide open, and these are the people primed to do it. Less so the Ozeki, but I think the rest of the Sanyaki are the people who see they have opportunity that they can see to do well and move up on the ranks.
Also, a point against Mitake Yumi. I submit to you his past 3 Kyushu Basho records: 7 and 8, 6 and 9, 7 and 8, and then I stop it at the last 3 because then he had a 9 and 6 before that. That doesn't help the narrative. But the year before that was 6 and 9, and then an 8 and 7. So yeah. Typically has a losing record.
You
in
could
Kyushu.
pick like any random tournaments for him and get those same numbers. So like, what does it matter?
Let's test that.
Oh God,
Natsu.
Did you seriously have to?
Natsu Bashos for Mitake Yumi. 10 and 5. We didn't have a Natsu Basho in 2020.
No.
Bad choice. July. 8 and 7. 11 and 4. 9 and 6. July. 13 and 2. Yusho. 9 and 6. July 5 and 10. So you got to go back to 2016.
So he's got one volatile tournament, and then everything else is just like fine.
And then
whatever.
His only other July was an 11-4 Yusho from Juryo. So
fair enough.
I win that point barely.
Whatever.
Barely.
Move on.
Okay. Abi is back in the top division for the first time, competing in the top division for the first time since July 2020, where he was pulled out of the Basho, mid-Basho, and then suspended for the next 3 Basho after it came out that he had broken COVID protocols. So after his 3 Basho suspension, he came back in Makuhita, won 2 straight Makuhita Yusho, and then had 11+ wins in his 2 Basho in Juryo, making it back up to the top division. So Jake, shortly before Abi was suspended, he spent 4 consecutive Basho as a Komosubi. Based on our current top division, where do you think Abi will end up a year from now?
I don't think I have any reason to think that he has changed all that much, I guess. So I think that he is most likely going to be an Upper Maegashira Komosubi type mainstay again. Until I see otherwise. He was supposed to blow through those lower divisions, and he did.
Yep.
Being held out for something that was non-injury related means I don't think I have any reason to think that anything's changed significantly. Similar to Shodai, he's like must-see TV, so I'm kind of excited for that. But, I mean, the reason he's out is because he's kind of a dick. So
His dumbassery.
yeah, so, like, I'm not excited in the sense that I like him or anything, but, I don't know, it'll be kind of fun to see. And I do think that he'll probably be back up in the Joy or so by then.
All right, and just another note that I found interesting. As a part of Abi's punishment, he had to move back into his stable away from his wife and daughter.
He had a daughter?
A year and a half. She is a year and a half old, so about as old as Riley.
This is apparently mind-blowing for Mac.
Whoa.
I was surprised too, but like not that surprised.
Yeah. So now that Abi is back in the Makuuchi division, he is now eligible to return home. But hasn't. He says he only wants to come home after he gets a Kachikoshi that satisfies him, which puts just enough subjectivity in there that he could be like,
Wait.
yeah, that 14-1 Yusho that I got.
Not good enough.
Not good enough. Sorry, wife. I got to focus on my craft.
I'm back with the boys, you know.
I accidentally touched Mawashi that last 15-0 Yusho. Sorry, can't do it.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah, it sounds like just an excuse to hang out with the boys all the time.
Yeah, there's probably is an innocent statement, but it just sounds like he's just like.
With what we know about Abi, it's easy to riff on that.
Yes.
Yeah, there we go. Okay. I was just thinking, like, with babies and stuff. Do you think sumo wrestlers have babies? They have like little Mawashi diapers.
Oh,
I would hope
wear.
so.
Like
I would be disappointed if not.
I agree with that.
I'm loving that image. Okay, continue on with the podcast.
And then there's another comment from Abi regarding his year-and-a-half-old daughter. He says, she is cute, but because we don't live together, I can't do papa things with her. I would like to take her to the park and stuff. The emphasis in the sentence was my own. He probably said that a lot nicer, but
Yeah. I love that translation. I can't do papa things.
I can't do papa things.
I also like the interpretation that he just can't think of things to do with his kid. I'd like to take her to the park and stuff.
I don't know. What do babies do?
Yeah.
We draw a line in the sand. Like, okay, this is the Shikiri Sen. We are going to learn how to sumo.
Yeah.
Thud, cry. Come on, kid.
There's no crying in sumo.
Get back up.
Go back to the stable until you're good enough to take me on.
The boys wrestle better than you do. All right, that's the new meme. Abi wants to hang with the boys more than he wants to raise his daughter.
We're going to follow where Abi lives very closely until he returns home.
Yes.
We're going to assume there's a very strenuous relationship he is in right now. All right, let's take a look at the rest of the Maegashira ranks. So I want to highlight some Rikishi between the ranks of Maegashira 1 through 4. And the one that's kind of jumping out for me is Onosho this tournament. He did pretty good last time, getting a 10-5 record. He's done this quite a bit over the past couple years. I feel like he'll get to like Maegashira 1, 2, 3, and then just have a horrendous basho, and then he'll work his way back up there and then do poorly. And so I really want to see Onosho kind of step it up. I feel like even if he gets a 10-5, he's not going to get back in the Sanyaku ranks just because that's what we've been seeing. Only one person, if any, has been dropping out the past few basho. We're kind of locked in on who belongs up here. But I still want to see him get those 10-plus wins, 11-plus wins, and have a record deserving of getting back into the Sanyaku ranks, because we were all so excited about Onosho when he came onto the scene, probably back in like 2017, where he had the three straight 10-5 records. We all thought, oh, he's going to be the next big guy. He made it up to Komosubi, and then he got injured, dropped down to Juryo, came back, and hasn't been the same since. I really want to believe in Onosho again. I think he's still like 25 years old, so he's got time to get this turned around.
Yep.
And not like
same as Takakesho.
And turned around, I mean, he's Maegashira too. He's doing just fine. But want to see him become like a Sanyaku mainstay. I don't want to see him get left behind by like Kiribayama, Wakataka Kage, or Hoshoryu, kind of the new kids on the block.
Yeah.
So he's the main guy I'm looking at. And then also Wakataka Kage. He's like my second favorite guy. I want to see him do really good and make it back to the rank of Komosubi and show a little bit better for himself than he did last time he was at that rank.
He's had some really good matches though, like each basho, like some really ones like that was solid, like dominating sumo. So I'm definitely gonna be watching Wakataka Kage as well.
Yep. And then so it's interesting. The top two Maegashira ranks are kind of like the younger guys that younger-ish guys that we could see kind of making some noise in the future. Daisho, Wakatakakage, Onosho, Takanosho, and then Maegashira 3 and 4 are just kind of like old hands that are back to say hi.
Yeah.
Okino Umi, Miyogiryu, Takano Fuji, Endo. They're all up here to say, hey, remember us? We're going to be here this time, but bye. We're going to go back down to Bansuke next time.
Yeah.
All right, what about you, Mac? Who are you looking at between the ranks of Maegashira 5 to Maegashira 8?
Well, the one that literally jumps out is also the one that jumps out pretty much almost every time on the Tachiai. That would be Chiyoshoma. 30-year-old, actually the highest he's ever been is a Maegashira 2. Do I think he's going to hit up to that level again? Probably not, because as awesome as the flying Henka is when you see it, you can kind of predict what he's going to do. I mean, Chiyoshoma is notorious for a lot of these Henkas, but they look awesome.
They're fun.
So
when they hit, it's
yes.
So
When they hit, they're fantastic. But I think he's probably going to top out at this current rank. M7, maybe kind of stay here a little bit. I can see him getting maybe an 8 and 7 or 7 and 8, and then start going down the Bansuke.
I see a lot of excitement in this patch of rankings with Hoshoryu, Ura, Kodoweko, Tobizaru.
the husk of Takayasu.
The husk of Takayasu, yes. The weekend at Bernie's, like, taped to 2 other, like, Tsukebitos holding him up,
Yeah.
kind of Takayasu. Oh, God, yeah. Please don't get hurt again, Takayasu.
Please don't.
Yeah. Really hope to see a bounce back Basho for Hoshoryu here. He had that 5 and 10 at Maegashira 1. He had that weird bout of, what was it, like tonsillitis or something that kept him out.
Something weird.
yeah.
For
Yeah.
3 days. But he also, I mean, he kept his streak of beating Shodai alive. I think he's 3-0 against Shodai. Or at least 2-0 against Shodai. He had that amazing Ippon Zeoi against Wakatakakage. So just want to see Hoshoryu kind of get another winning record, get back up in the Maegashira 1 through 3 range.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Jake, how about the ranks Maegashira 9 through Maegashira 12?
I'm really excited for this Asanowaka guy.
Former Sekiwa,
Oh,
former
wow.
Ozeki, actually.
Yeah,
Hot
yeah.
take.
So you know he's got the talent. So we'll see what happens there. Probably very little.
Yeah.
But no, realistically, I'm excited to see Ishura again. He's always been one of my favorite guys, and he was out for COVID protocol last time. So it weirdly feels like much longer than one Basho since I've seen him around. But yeah, Kotonowaka, another guy who had a catastrophic Joy tournament last time.
Hurt his meniscus and had to pull out.
Yep.
But still somebody that, very young and promising. So we'll see how he's healed up from then.
Yeah, haven't heard any news on him, on if he's planning on competing or if that meniscus is something that's going to keep him out multiple tournaments. Hopefully it's healed up and he's good to go again. Be excited to see what he can do. Okay.
Haven't heard anything about Hidenoumi being too distracted by the babes, so hopefully he's been focusing on the sumo.
Yeah. Hide Naomi is in a group of 4 straight Rikishi that had 7 and 8 records in the previous tournament that all stayed
Yeah, that's right.
at their same rank. So Tobizaru,
Wow.
Aoyama, Hide Naomi, Chiyotairyu, all of them had 7 and 8 records the previous tournament. All of them stayed at the same exact rank.
Holy cow.
Oh, I think I might have to be more of an active Aoyama fan now because I got a bitching trading card of him.
That is an amazing card.
So
Hokuto Fuji is also in this range.
it's as good a reason as any, right?
Yeah, it works.
He's the other guy that had the disastrous tournament in the Joy where he had
I know that had to hurt for you, Ryan.
It did, 2 and 13, but it was mostly due to that knee injury. I think he started off 2 and 2 and then had to pull out.
Yep.
So hopefully Hokuto Fuji's better, and if he is, he should be able to get, I would think, at least 11 wins at this range on the Bansuke. I mean, facing the husk of Tochinoshin, Teretsuyoshi, Asanoyama's absent self, that should be a freebie right there.
Everybody in this range just gets a Fusen win, right?
We're good.
So I think Hokuto Fuji, as long as he's healthy, he should get double-digit wins this tournament. And then Fleric, who is standing out between Maegashira 13 and Maegashira 17?
It's just Abi.
It's just Abi.
Yeah, it's pretty much everyone are just kind of old hats. We see what they were, and they had mediocre performances at that rank too. So let's just watch Abi to see whether or not he can continue avoiding his daughter or not.
He'll start off 10-0. Wait, if I do really good, I will have no excuse not to go home, and then just start losing his matches.
Just steps out of the ring. It's like, nope, we're done.
Yeah.
Deliberate step down.
It's like 8-7, 7-8, like from here on out.
Yeah. We've also got Big Guns Shohozan.
Ooh.
He's going to be back up in the top division at 37 years old. So I think he's the oldest guy in the top division. Tamawashi might also be
Shohozan's 37?
I think he's pretty close to turning 38, too.
I'm looking.
Yeah. I need
Yeah,
to know.
Shohozan's old.
Yeah. So he's back in the top division for the first time in about a year. Be interesting to see him. Other people that are up from Juryo, we have Aqua. We'll see if he can keep the Kakanages that he was doing in Juryo, where he had like 5 wins by that like tripping leg throw technique.
Oh, yeah, Kakenage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we'll see what Aqua can do with that technique this tournament. And then Sato no Umi. First Sato no Umi sighting in Makuuchi for about a year-ish.
I think I'm in this range. Chiyo Kuni sticks out just for entertainment value.
Mm-hmm.
Storyline-wise, I feel like he's kind of fizzled after his like rocket ship return from injury.
Yeah.
He was never like a Joy or a Sanyaku mainstay anyways, but I kind of let myself start to believe that while he was burning through the lower divisions and stuff. But,
yeah.
Oh, well.
And we also have Kagayaki in this range. We'll see if he can push his streak of losing records but not dropping down to Juryo. We'll see if he can push that a little bit further. It's 6 straight tournaments he's had a losing record.
And before that was an 8-7.
Yeah. But even with 6 straight tournaments, it hasn't been enough to push him down to Juryo. So we'll see if he can make it 7 tournaments where he gets a losing record and not drop down to Juryo.
Some of this is ridiculous. He was Maegashira 3 at the beginning of this streak. He went 5-10 and only went down 3 ranks.
Well, I mean, we talked about Chiyoshima earlier, and people who listen to the Bansuke episodes, they're the coolest people that listen to the podcast. Of course. But those who don't, they already know that they don't know Chiyoshima dropped only 2 ranks from after a 5-10 record this Basho.
Kagayaki, for whatever reason, just every single time is very lucky.
He gets pretty lucky with the Bansuke. We've talked about that on the Bansuke episodes. Yeah, of course.
No, I would not know.
What's a Bansuke? But no, Kagayaki regularly gets 6 and 9s and drops like half a rank or something. Like it's stupid.
Yeah. All right. So if we wanted to talk about somebody in the top division, we've already had our chance. So we'll talk just ever so briefly about Juryo and below. We're finally going to get our chance to see Hokuseiho as a Sekitori after the Miyagino stable was held out of the previous tournament due to COVID. So his anticipated debut was pushed back to this Basho.
And this is the Hakuho disciple.
This is the protege.
He was like 7'10".
7'10", 480 pounds, but it's all muscle. He is 19 years old, started his pro sumo career in July of 2020, and has since then won a Yusho in each of the lower divisions, and would have made his Sekitori debut 2 Basho ago if he didn't have to sit out of 2 tournaments because of COVID breakouts in the Miyagino stable.
Yeah, he is in the ring. So discounting those absences, he's 39-3 in his career.
Wow,
he's doing okay.
Yeah, and only 19 years old.
Only 19.
So it'll be very exciting to watch him down in Juryo and see what he can do and see if he kind of hits a limit.
So guaranteed 15-0, right?
I think so. Yeah,
we'll see.
I mean, do you think Toha Kuryu or Haku Yozan are going to put up a fight against the beast that is Hokuseiho?
I haven't even heard of those guys, so they must be nothing.
I like the Haku Yozan name, so maybe. We'll see.
I think Haku Yozan won a Juryo Yusho a couple of Basho ago.
Ooh.
He
did.
Why would you remember? Whatever.
You've also got Wee Baby.
I got to move on from being. I got to move on from being flabbergasted when Ryan remembers stupid stuff like that.
Well, he won't fight. He won't fight Enho, which would be hilarious to see, like the biggest guy in Juryo fight the smallest.
I'm just
guy
looking
in
everything
Juryo.
down here. I'm like, okay, Ichi Yamamoto. I mean, we've heard of some of these guys.
Yep, Ichi Yamamoto down from Makuuchi. He was up there for a couple of Basho. Another interesting fact about just this year in sumo, we only had 2 people make their Makuuchi debut this year, and both of them are already back down at Juryo. It's Midori Fuji and Ichi Yamamoto. So there's no newcomers to the Makuuchi division from this year.
Yeah.
Which is real interesting. Going to make Newcomer of the Year award on the GSB podcast very difficult to figure out.
Or very easy.
Or very easy. One of those 2.
And then Since we don't have any newcomers to the Makuuchi division, just going to do very brief profiles on newcomers to the Juryo division. So there's Asanowaka, formerly Terasawa. He's 26 years old. We've brought him up way back in the past on this podcast because he did rise pretty quickly to the top of Makushita before he kind of stumbled a little bit. But he's won Jonokuchi, Sandanme, and Makushita Yusho, and he's also in the Takasago Beya with Asanoyama. So he does have somebody good to train with. Good at sumo, not good morally.
Of course.
Of course.
I'm not saying Asanoyama is a terrible person for breaking COVID protocols, but probably because
not saying he's
it really sounds like. I mean, the higher-ups in his stable probably very much coerced him to do so, and it's hard to say no to those people, so I will give him a little bit benefit of the doubt. And also, we have Hira Doumi is new to Juryo. He started sumo at the age of 15, made it to Juryo over the course of the past 5.5 years, and he's only 21 years old, and he is in the Sakaigawa Beya with Miyogiryu and Sadano Umi. And then also, I'm a little confused about this because there's a Rikshi that's supposed to be debuting at Makushita 15 with the Makushita Sukedashi because he won the 2020 All Japan Student Championships. And he's in like the Naruto Beya. It's Peru.
It's a Mongolian name.
It's a Mongolian
I was about
name.
to say, I don't know if I can pronounce that.
Yeah. So I heard he was supposed to debut this Basho at Makushita 15, but I'm not seeing him on the Bansuke, so I don't know if that got delayed or something. So there is somebody that's going to be making a Makushita Tsukedashi sometime soon, I believe. Maybe this Basho. I don't know. But it is interesting to note because the last Makushita Tsukedashi we had was in Natsu 2017 when Mitoryu and Yago both debuted at Makushita 15. And then let's also dive a little bit deeper than we did on the Hakuho episode about how he is now Magaki Oyakata. We briefly mentioned it on our Hakuho recap episode, but he had let's just get everybody's opinions on this. He had to sign a pledge saying that he would be basically a good boy. Thoughts?
I hate that so much.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
It really it's just so silly that like the transgressions in Hakuho's career, like I'm not saying they're completely nothing, but like come on.
Yeah.
That's basically my argument.
Yeah, disappointed is my big feeling with that.
Yeah.
My guess is they want to try to have like the greatest Yokozuna Rikshi ever going into the Oyakata scene to have maybe a little bit less power. Because they did have Takanohana, who was also Dai Yokozuna with all of his wins, and he kind of just went crazy and tried to change everything like while he was up there. And so maybe it's just kind of like a reaction to that. That would be one of my guesses. But I don't know. I'm just disappointed.
It just makes me feel like they're never going to allow him to be properly one of them.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Disappointing is the right word for it. I would agree with that.
Yeah. So it was apparently not a unanimous decision to allow him to become an Oyakata because there's like a 6-person committee. I believe it's 5 Oyakata and then somebody that's outside of the JSA. And
one lucky fan.
Yeah. Typically, it's just a rubber stamp. Yeah, you're Oyakata. But I guess this time there were some people, or at least one person, who didn't think that he should become Oyakata, and some, or at least one, didn't think he should be allowed to open a stable for 10 years as long as he is under good behavior.
I was waffling a little bit before,
probationary?
but now I'm gonna take the absolute hot take here. Whoever voted against him is a dick. Screw that guy.
Mm-hmm.
Why wouldn't you want one of
That's
the
so
greatest
dumb.
Yokozunas ever to start coaching the next generation?
Yeah.
Why
it's
shackle
so
him?
petty. It's so petty.
Well, they believe that his behavior on the dohyo was not becoming of a Yokozuna or a Rikshi, period, and so they do not want him to pass those tendencies along to his people that he's taken under his wing and is training.
I understand that you're just reporting the facts that you have read,
I was about to
but
say.
I'm struggling not to
What?
yell at you, Ryan,
right.
the person.
Thank you, Jake. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna keep
man.
myself in check here.
No, we're all pretty much the same page there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've been looking up what exactly the document that Hakuho had to sign said. So per a Twitter thread from Sumo follower, who is very good follow, she does a great job of translating Japanese articles for those of us who don't read Japanese. So the pledge said, as a beginner Oyakata, he will obey the chairman and his senpai Oyakata's orders and follow their guidance and sincerely perform the duties assigned to him during Honbasho. In addition, that he keeps the traditions and culture of sumo, the spirit of the way of sumo, the association's principles, rules and manners, and the sumo world's customs and practices, and does not deviate from them in speech or conduct.
Huh?
That's
basically
so
just
petty.
It's basically just like anything that you would tell any Oyakata to do.
Exactly.
It's
I'm
not
like,
anything special, but he's the only one that had to sign.
That's what I mean.
That,
Why?
yeah. Yep. So
He's too
Hakuho,
powerful. We must stop him.
Hakuho and Miyagino Oyakata were called in the Kokuki-kan. Board member Oguruma explained the decision to them. Hakuho expressed no objection, signed the document. Shibatayama Oyakata said, "We have high hopes of Hakuho, and we expect him to do things properly from now on."
Properly.
Yes.
Properly.
Yep.
That's a Kintamiyama joke right there, where he loves to just bold properly with all of his translations. Because Rick should just say it a lot.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. And then apparently the matter of the Ichidai Toshiyori status, which is where if you are a Yokozuna that has won so many tournaments and you're deemed to be a great Yokozuna, you can use your wrestling name as your Oyakata name. We've seen that with Taiho, Kita no Umi, and Takanohana. Chiyo no Fuji was offered that, but he declined.
Right?
He
Yeah.
declined.
Yep. And Asashoryu was kicked out of sumo, and so he was never offered that new position. But for Hakuho, that status was never discussed at all, and it doesn't seem like there's any chance of Hakuho being Hakuho Oyakata.
I'm looking forward to the next generational sumo wrestler being given that immediately, and us as old men just griping about it.
Oh, yeah.
Just so much salt.
Back in our day.
Yeah, it's like 2055 or something like that, and this new whippersnapper here with his 75 Yusho is getting to keep his name. But well, Hakuho never got to. Yeah. Looking forward to the saltiness.
Yes.
Yep. And so the position that Hakuho Magaki Oyakata has been assigned to is the Guidance Dissemination Department, and this is the default assignment for any new Oyakata. So he might get another assignment in next year's regular reshuffle of jobs, but that is his current assignment.
Yeah, that's kind of the funny thing about Oyakata. It's like once you retire, there's another ranking, and you're all the way up.
Oh God, yeah, yep.
It's like very sumo. It's fantastic.
Yeah, so his rank is now officially In Taigu Toshiyori. Whatever that means. We have not studied what the ranks of the JSA are.
As the Yokozuna Deliberation Council West, I think that we should officially still call him Hakuho.
As an act of defiance.
I second.
Yes, as a YDC ourselves, we have to adopt the proper amount of pettiness.
Yes.
So I think we should just dish it right back.
Our pettiness is equal to that of the pettiness of the actual YDC.
Yes.
But we just focus our pettiness at the other YDC.
Yeah. Council.
And then just looking up the Guidance
love it.
Dissemination Department that Hakuho is in, their main job is to interact with young men and students to spread the way of sumo. And honestly, that's probably a real good job for Hakuho.
The Hakuho
That's-
Cup already
yes.
exists. Yeah, that's already clearly a passion of his. That's awesome.
Yep. All right. So that's going to wrap up the first portion of our preview.
What about Pokemon?
Oh, yeah, Pokemon. Basically, it boils down to Pokemon is donating. Well, not donating. They're sponsoring
Yes.
a lot of Kensho banners. I think you're going to see some Pokemon Kesho Mawashi, and just they will have a presence. Let me see. I'm looking
Hopefully
at Sumo
this
followers.
also means like in-ring costumes too, right?
Ooh.
Oh my God, that'd
Yeah.
be amazing.
There's like one like a Pokemon like mascot match like in the middle of Makuuchi.
Enho comes out as a Pichu.
Yeah, the comedy matches that Shobushi was his name. Is that right? The
Yes.
guy that he used to do. They should do that with Pokemon now.
I love it.
So I am just going to forewarn all of you now that Pokemon has a presence in sumo wrestling. there is 100% going to be a Pokemon quiz that I'm going to give all of you.
Okay, are we limiting to the original?
I'm not telling you any. No, we're going to do all of them.
No!
That's bullshit. I quit. I quit the podcast.
All right, hold on. I'm getting the article up about Pokemon getting into sumo wrestling because I just want to make sure there's no details that we're missing. They're going to be sponsoring several Kensho banners, which are paraded around the sumo wrestling ring before the match. The banners will feature well-known Pokemon from Pikachu to Makuhita, and there will be 200 banners in total.
You know who Makuhita is, right, Jake?
No.
Oh.
So the Pokemon banners...
There's only 151 Pokemon, and I know all of them.
The Pokemon banners will appear in tournaments in November and in January. Sumo wrestlers will also be sporting Pokemon-themed Kesho Mawashi, which is the ceremonial apron worn during the ring entering ceremony. So that'll be real fun. I'd be real interested to see. I'm going to pay real attention to like the Dohyo Iri to see what Pokemon are going to be on the Kesho Mawashi.
Like,
yeah.
Oh.
I think that's really
that would be
fun.
great if like they have like 200 unique Kesha banners to parade around.
I've never heard of Makuhita before, but I see that it seems like a very fitting mascot for sumo.
Haruyama
but Makuhita is 3'3" and 190 pounds.
He's a dense
big boy.
Oh man,
how big's Haruyama?
7'7", 560.
That's a Yokozuna right there.
That's Akebono level there.
That's like made out of like depleted uranium to get that density there. That's crazy.
I'm so happy we can bring Pokemon conversations into this now, and it's relevant to sumo.
You are literally bouncing in your chair.
Yeah.
I will increase the total number of Pokemon within my brain.
To 153.
Now that there are 2 sumo Pokemon, yes, exactly.
All right. Now we will take a quick break. When we come back, we will remind everybody where the GSB belt, whose buxom bosom that belt is around, and then we'll do our prediction series. And we're also going to have an update on our predictions that we made at the beginning of the year to see what we got right and wrong and what is still left to decide the winner. Because, spoiler, there's 2 people tied at the top of the scores. If you enjoy the Grand Sumo Breakdown podcast, you can leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast listening service.
You can find us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Just search for Grand Sumo Breakdown.
Support the show on Patreon and check out our blog, grandsumobreakdown.wordpress.com.
If you have any questions, comments, or corrections, drop us a line at grandsumobreakdown@gmail.com or give us a call at 805-613-7866. That's 805-613-SUMO.
Also, watch us on YouTube.
Welcome back. Real quick, we're going to talk about the GSB belt. This is our second iteration since our first belt went from, let's see, we started in Kyushu of 2019, and by, let's see, Natsu of 2021, it had made it all the way to the top. So we started over our belt. And in the last 2 tournaments, we have gone from Byakuen beating Shonan Zakura, I was going to say late, but he retired. He didn't die.
I was also going to say rest in peace, but yeah.
So Shonan Zakura will not be the loser of the next iteration of the GSP. But yeah, so Byakuen beat Shonan Zakura for the inaugural second GSB belt, instantly lost it. Osanai had it for a little while, but now it is around the ample bosom. That's the word that
there
we
it is.
Ample bosom.
Yeah, of Fuji Seiyun, who is somebody to watch. He is 21-0. He's in that like 3 Yusho.
He's only lost a playoff for the Jonidan Yusho.
To Osanai.
Yeah.
So
be good.
there's some weird stuff going on with that belt there. But it'll be around Fuji Seiyun for the time being. We'll see if he can continue.
Which rank is he at?
Makushita 17.
Yep. There you go. Yep. So he's, I think we talked about it last time, but it's already like 80% of the way there. Just because there's so many people in the lower divisions. Which is, I think our first belt was at this point like 60% of the way up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So like still, it moves very quickly because if somebody is winning in the low divisions, they're very often winning a lot. Mm-hmm. So we'll see how this one goes. But yeah, last one took 1.5 years. So probably going to be similar expectations for this one.
All right, let's get to our prediction series where we
Let's
do
go.
have a rule change, or at least a point scoring change.
And we're going to discuss it in detail for the next 30 minutes here.
Yes.
buckle up, people.
Let's go.
No, basically, we didn't want it to turn into, all right, I lost the prediction series. Now I get to choose Terano Fuji. Oh, look, I won the prediction series. So in order to nerf Terano Fuji specifically, we are lowering the point total of a Yusho from 5 points to 2 points, and we are lowering the point total of special prizes, Jun Yusho and Kimboshi, from 3 points each to 1 point each. That way, Yusho is still the most amount of points. I still think that needs to be the highest reward you can receive, but it's not as significant. So if you really mess up your chump, that's still going to tank you down, and you're not as likely to win. Also, the penalty for if your chump wins the Yusho is still going to be -5 points.
I like that we're keeping
and the
that
penalty
because that's
if you get,
so good.
if your chump gets a special prize Jun Yusho or Kimboshi is going to be -3 points. If your chump does good, we're really going to hit you hard on that.
But we just wanted a little bit more volatility in the in who's gonna win it.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, so Fleric, you lost last time. That means you get the first pick for your champ. Now that we have nerfed Terano Fuji, are you still taking Terano Fuji?
Cha? Yes, Terano Fuji. That is going to be my champ.
I'm going to go not chalk. For my champ, Abi.
Damn.
Oh.
Okay. I thought he might fall to me.
Fascinating. Even after learning about like all of his like staying
The
at
fact
the
that he's a
stable
terrible
and not-
father makes me believe even harder that he's going to do good, as he has been training sumo with the boys.
There we go. I like now he's a terrible father because he had to move back in.
It's more the fact that he refuses to go back home.
Yeah, this sucks because we just spent like the first hour of the podcast
Ripping
talking
on
about
everything.
how little we believe in the Ozeki and the Junior Sanyaku. I feel like
That's what you
Hokuto
do.
Fuji's kind of a tempting
Ooh.
pick there.
Yeah, this is an interesting one where, we're probably not going to just, obviously we're already not just stacking up the top 4 people. This is
Right.
interesting.
I'm gonna take Takakesho.
All right.
All right. You can do
I'm
that.
gonna waffle a little bit and then do the predictable thing.
There you
And
go.
then go chalk.
I'm gonna put my money where my mouth is. I'm gonna go Kiribayama.
All right.
Hey, I like it.
Ballsy, you're looking to get punished again, aren't you?
I hope not.
All right, Mac.
Go Kiri
your
Mayama
chump.
first.
Yeah.
For my chump, my wife's gonna hate me for this one. Tochi Notion.
Ooh.
I'm sorry, Mr.
That's,
Gorgeous
that's
Georgian.
That's not bad.
That is a solid one, yeah.
All right,
Although it's
Jake.
probably gonna be a slow decline.
But-
He usually has a good like 7 and 8 in him.
I could see. I'm thinking No Show is my front runner here because he is in absolute bed shitting position, like based on his history.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I could go Ichinojo's another kind of promising one. I'm gonna say No Show.
All right.
All right.
That was probably
Ichinojo
gonna be
bit
my
me in the
pick.
ass last
Yeah.
time.
You said No Show?
No Show.
Yeah.
Miyogiryu baby.
Oh,
Oh.
those are like the 2.
Yep.
All right, I'm gonna have to take a look at the Beyond 2K.
Endo took a huge jump up.
Okino Umi's
But
also
Endo
jumped up.
could hang on. Endo can perform up there.
I believe
So
in Endo more than Miyogiryu.
Yes,
That's, yeah.
yes.
Yeah, we're gonna go
Kiribayama's
Okinoumi.
available. It is his Sanyaku debut.
We're gonna go Okinoumi.
Okino Umi.
Okino
All
Umi.
right.
We're
That's
not
the
getting
one.
a champ chump cross pick
Nope,
again.
not this time.
Not this time, no.
Was it
That's
Ichinojo
wild.
last time?
Yep, Ichinojo,
Yeah.
because you had him as your champ and I picked him for chump.
Yep.
Yep. And he somehow managed to disappoint us both by doing mediocre.
It was like, damn it.
All right.
All right, it is time for us to go to the Takayasu teacup of petty cash,
The tiny
punishments,
teacup.
and patron compliments.
It's a very full teacup. But I emptied our 27 cents of petty cash over on the desk so that we would have room to draw a punishment. And the punishment is it's the movie scene.
Woo!
All right.
Hey.
All right, that'll be fun. So the loser will have to rewrite a movie scene to be sumo themed, and they will also have to wrangle in probably the second loser
Probably,
to join
yes.
them.
Uh,
or
the scene
second
picked
and
by the
third
winner.
place,
Yeah, this is
depending.
the
the
winner
picked
has
by
to
the
pick
winner.
the scene.
And yeah, however many people are required will jump in. But they're not losers. They're just helping the loser.
They're assistant losers.
Yeah, assistant losers. All right, so let's go back to the predictions that we made at the start of the year and see kind of what we got right and what we've gotten wrong to this point. So we all predicted how many Yokozuna would we have at the end of the year. I said we would have none. Jake said we would have 2. Flarick was the only one to get it right and said we would have 1 Yokozuna.
Mac picked 7.
No, I picked. I think I picked 4.
You picked 3 Yokozuna.
3. Okay.
Yeah. And
yeah, this was when we had it was Kakuryu and Hakuho, right?
Kakuryu and Hakuho started off the year.
And maybe Terunofuji or someone was looking ready, and
Exactly.
Takakesho was looking to become Yokozuna. Yeah.
Takakesho, if he had done really good in that first tournament, could have feasibly been.
Oh, he was on the Suna run going into Hatsu.
Yeah, because he had won November of 2020. Yeah.
Okay.
And so then we also predicted who would be Yokozuna at the end of the year. I obviously said nobody. Jake had Hakuho and Asanoyama.
That did not age well.
Flarick's 1 Yokozuna was Takakesho.
Yeah.
And Mac's 3 Yokozuna were Hakuho, Takakesho, and Asanoyama.
Yep, that didn't work.
Nope.
What a
None of
wild
us
time
had
that was.
Terunofuji.
Aged like a fine milk.
In our defense, Terunofuji was like Maegashira 1 when we made those
Also
predictions.
Yeah, didn't he he won his Yusho from the bottom, got super promoted, and we were all still like in full on doubt mode, I think, at that point.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. Then we also predicted how many Ozeki would we have at the end of the year. I thought we would have 3, those being Takakesho, Shodai, and Asanoyama. Basically, I just thought who was there was going to stay there because I'm pretty sure those were the 3 that started the year.
You thought the Yokozuna would retire and the Ozeki would all continue to distinguish themselves with nothing.
Yep. Jake also had 3 Ozeki, but he had Takakesho, Shodai, and Terunofuji, as you had Asanoyama.
I should get some partial credit there.
So, yeah, how I'm doing it is...
No.
If
Anyway,
you got any of the names right, you got a point for each of the name you got right.
Of course you're scoring. I thought we were just going through our answers.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, we got to score it. We got to figure out who's the...
Yeah.
The whole point was to figure out who is the Dai Yokozuna of the podcast at the end of the year.
So you're saying I should have said 10 Ozeki and listed every
I
single
was about to
Richie
say,
in
the
the bond
advantage
today.
is just going long, man.
Well,
All right,
The
who's next?
scoring
Continue.
could be worked out later.
Okay.
All right, Flarick.
However we need to do it for Ryan to win.
Flarick had Asanoyama and Terunofuji as Ozeki. And Mac had Shodai and Terunofuji as Ozeki.
Hey.
So
you get props there.
some trends here. All of us thought that Asanoyama was going to be either Yokozuna or Ozeki. All of us thought that Takakesho was going to be either Yokozuna or Ozeki.
That's fair.
3 of us thought Shodai would stay at Ozeki. Flarick thought Shodai was going to drop from the right.
That's, well...
And
that would
that's
have been right, too.
I don't think, even with hindsight, I don't think that's that bad of a guess.
No.
2 of us had Hakuho retiring. None of us had Terunofuji making it to Yokozuna.
And we all had Kakuyu retiring.
And we all had
Kakuyu
Kakuyu retiring, yeah. Yep, I had already forgotten about him. So we also predicted who will the 6 Yusho winners be. I'm not going to list everybody's 6 predictions. I got 2 right. I had 1 Hakuho Yusho, and I had 1 Terunofuji Yusho. So I got those 2 right.
And then a bunch of Asanoyama, I bet.
2 Takakesho, 1 Asanoyama,
Yeah,
and
there
then a
you go.
random Okinoumi, which turned out to be Daisho this year.
There you go. Yep.
Jake,
be 1.
Jake had 2 right. He got the Hakuho and the Terunofuji. He had 2 Asanoyama, a Takakesho, and an Endo. Flarick got 3 right because he had a Hakuho and 2 Terunofuji.
Nice.
Right on.
But he also had 2 Takakesho and an Asanoyama.
Hey.
Mac has gotten 1.
Yay!
He got Hakuho, but he also predicted an additional Hakuho, 2 Asanoyama, 2 Takakesho.
Yeah, that's actually pretty fair.
All of our prediction for who will finish 2021 with the most wins were wrong.
Was it all Asanoyama?
3 Asanoyama and a Takakesho.
Spoilers,
Whoops.
it's gonna be Terunofuji if he sits this one out, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then we also had which member of the Makuuchi division that's in the Sanyaku ranks or below will be in Sanyaku at the end of the year. So you can't say, oh, Shodai, he's in the Sanyaku ranks. He's
Right.
going to be there. At
Junior
the end of the year.
Sanyaku.
Yeah. So I had predicted Daisho would be there. So freaking close.
Just by 1.
Just by 1 rank, I was close.
Literally 1 east.
Jake had Hokuto Fuji.
Damn.
And then Flarick and Mac took the easy answer of Mitaki Yumi.
Yay!
Yeah, so I'm off by 12.
And then we are also adding in 1 point for each prediction series win. to go into the end.
Okay.
And so I have 3 points from that, and Fleric and Mac each have 1 point.
Yeah.
Yay.
Whatever to make Ryan win.
Jesus,
All
I
Brant,
haven't
let's
won
go.
one this year.
No, you haven't.
Damn it. And I'm not all that confident in my picks for this one either.
So yeah, that is
At
where.
least I didn't have to sing this year, did I?
So no, that was Fleric.
No, that
Yeah, I
was
think I
Fleric.
had that one this year.
So our current point tallies, we could figure out how to score it later, so this could very well change. But I have Fleric and myself tied with 7 points going into the end. And so basically what will decide it, let's see, if Takakeisho gets a Yusho, that me and Fleric will get the same amount of points. Could come down to the prediction series if one of us wins the prediction series.
Ooh.
So
All
Or if
right.
Asanowaka gets a shitload of wins in this tournament.
So yeah, the crown of Dai Yokozuna is still up in the air. All's we know for sure, probably not Jake or Mac.
I'm
What are
okay
we
with
at, by
that.
the way? I mean, we'll talk about scoring later, like
Yeah.
you said. But if you guys are currently at 7, where are we?
Yeah.
4 and 5.
Oh, no.
Not good.
I'm the 4, aren't I?
You sure are.
Yeah, okay. Lot of Asanowaka faith in the beginning of this year.
We both had a lot of Asanowaka faith.
All right. So by the time we get this podcast probably published, it'll be Monday or later. And so our bold predictions thread will be up on Twitter. So go check that out. Place your bold predictions, because whoever we decide had the best prediction at the end of the Basho will receive 1 free Grand Sumo Breakdown t-shirt. It's the hottest item that's out there right now. You don't want to be left behind, but you also don't want to have to pay for it. So make your bold prediction
Also true.
and try to get it for free. And then if you make your bold prediction and we don't choose yours, then buy the shirt. Try next time. You'll get a second shirt. You'll be the coolest kid on the block. All right. I am trying to get through our backlog of patron questions that we have, and we are bloodbound to answer. So
Bloodbound.
the one we are answering on this episode is from Jorge Lamarca. He sent us a message saying, "Hi, it would be great if you guys addressed the easy/tune-up fights offered to wrestlers that are supposed to win in specific situations. For example, half-sick Ichinojo as the first fixture for Teruno Fuji for his first bout as a Yokozuna? Something else I was wondering is whether certain wrestlers are more or less considerate of promotion aspirations of others. In particular, situations where a wrestler that is fighting for a winning score versus a wrestler going for an 11th win, with the latter going easier on them. Feel free to disregard as paranoia, and to be clear, I am not suggesting there is match fixing going on. However, I find it hard to believe that all wrestlers go all out in circumstances if certain outcomes would be better for the sport. Thanks for the entertainment." So first one.
And thank you, Jorge. We appreciate that.
First one I'm going to knock right out of there for Teruno Fuji getting Ichinojo as his first match. That is very easily explained. The Yokozuna, typically their first match is against the Komusubi West.
Yep.
At least in the experience that I've been seeing with the number of Rikishi in the top division. And so Teruno Fuji
just the
was
way it works.
Yokozuna. Ichinojo was Komusubi West. That's just how it lined up.
Yeah, they generally, the Yokozuna and the Ozeki, just burn through the upper Magashira in the first week, and then they get each other in the second week, generally.
Yeah, the first week is fairly set if you're a member of the top. If you're in the top 16 ranks, it's pretty set who you're getting.
And then they screw around based on records later in the tournament.
Well, and see, that's what I was trying. In the first week, it's supposed to be pretty much set that you're gonna win. If you're an Ozeki,
Supposed
maybe
to, yeah.
you're
Yes.
supposed to. These are supposed to be the easy wins, and then the second week is where it gets all dicey.
is where you're
That's
supposed
when
to
you
have
don't
your
know.
exciting matchups with your other 10 plus.
Ozeki versus
win.
Ozeki,
Exactly.
or the random Miyogiryu who's doing very well will get a handful of the top guys, kind of a thing. Yeah.
Exactly.
But as we're seeing with the turnover, that may not be the case. I mean, that's what's exciting right now.
Yeah, but that first week, especially the first day, those schedules are typically set in stone. So
They're
Same every time.
There was nothing hinky with that.
Yeah,
for
don't worry
Teruno
about that
Fuji
part.
Yeah,
there.
it's all good.
As for wrestlers that, hey, I've already got 11 wins. I'm going up against a 7-7 guy going for like his Kachikoshi. Maybe I should go a little bit easier on them. I did look up stats for the day 15 matchups of 7-win Rikishi versus, I just did 8-12 win Rikishi just to kind of see what the win rate was there. So over the past 10 years, 81 of 143 7-win Rikishi have won that match against an 8+ win Rikishi. And so that's 56.6% of the time that the 7-win Rikishi wins that match just over the past 10 years. So it's slightly
Which is
more,
how long ago the match fixing scandal was.
Uh-huh.
yeah. Yeah, and I also didn't want to do. I was doing this at like 9:30 this morning when I should have already left. So I didn't want to go back a whole lot further.
But yeah, so the 2011 match fixing scandal, a big deal of that was people doing exactly this, going easy on somebody because it would be beneficial to your opponent to get that win, more beneficial for them than.
Or having their Oyakata telling them to lose their match.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it would be more beneficial to their pocketbook.
Yes, exactly. Yes. So trading money, trading matches, and then there was also the idea that next Basho, you give me a win. Yeah. You know, there was that culture here and there, and they rooted out a lot of it. There's no way that I don't think there's any way you can ever get that to exactly 0. So there might be a match or two where one guy goes easy on purpose, but that 56% is awfully close to where you'd kind of expect it to be.
And that can be explained away. I mean, the guy with 7 wins, he's fighting for his Kachikoshi. Yeah. He might just be putting in more effort because he doesn't want to get demoted down the Bansuke. The other guy who's between 8 to 12 wins, all right, I've got a winning record. I'm not necessarily in the Yusho race, so one more win.
It's not match fixing.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're just like, you don't need it as bad as the other guy, and he tries harder.
You see a lot like in other sports like round robins, like, you know, if someone's already clear through, like in the group stage, you know, like, and they have later ones, sometimes they actually do take it easy or they feel less people. It's just going to be, it's just something that goes with the format.
Yeah, we brought it up with Takakeisho earlier. He hit his 8 wins, and then we saw him visibly not try as hard those final 3 matches. Now, that was due to injury, we suspect.
We hope.
But it wasn't to give the guys an easier win. It was more of, this is a situation I'm in. I'm not going to push it too hard for myself.
I don't want to get hurt
He's looking forward to the future,
Yeah. So could there be some guys like, all right, I'm going to do this guy a favor, get him a winning record. It's not going to affect me too much. My 9-6 or 10-5.
Maybe he'll pay me back later. I guarantee that's happening on a tiny, tiny scale here and there.
Remember what I'm doing for you.
Yeah, but I definitely don't think it's organized because, like, it sounded like in the past, like, there was, like, text messages, like, going on. Like,
How dumb do you have to be to leave a paper trail?
Right? Or, like, in the back locker room, they were kind of telling the stuff to go on there.
Yeah.
And it sounds like after the whole match-fixing purge, like, a lot of people got kicked out of the sport. I doubt there's any kind of paper trail or any kind of talking about it. It's probably just kind of maybe subconsciously, like you don't mean to, but maybe actually
we did do a bonus episode on that scandal a million years ago.
That would be early 2018.
That's probably one worth revisiting with 3 more years of experience in the sport.
Yeah, couldn't hurt. We know how to do a lot better.
Oh God, are we rehashing? Are we going back and redoing episodes?
I love
it. That would be a good one to do if we do.
Yeah,
there you go.
It'd be interesting to revisit that one if we wanted to. All right. What is everybody most excited for this tournament? We'll start with Mac. Mac, what are you most excited for?
I am most excited to honestly see what Terunofuji's going to do. I want to see what the news of Hakuho's retirement is going to do to the rest of the Bansuke. It's like, okay, well, the king's gone. How is that going to affect everybody's performance? Is everybody going to still be in their top form? Or is everybody going to push just that much harder because now the giant gaping hole in the top of the Bansuke where Hakuho used to be is now vacant? Who's going to take that spot?
For me, I am excited for Hokuseiho to shake up Juryo, hopefully. Abi to shake up Makuuchi a little bit.
Yeah.
That could be fun.
Wait, I'm cheering for Abi. What have I done?
What are you doing?
Now that we know he's a terrible father and is devoting his life to sumo.
Yes, get that win, King. Abandon your child.
Oh, man.
One of my boys, Ishiura's coming back. I think there's like, even if it's not new, there is like some new blood kind of, those things could shake things up. Because I think the only thing that would be boring is Terunofuji running away and winning it by like 3. That's the only thing that I think would be boring for this Basho.
Well, have I got news for you?
Yeah, no, let me check back in 2 weeks and be incredibly disappointed.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting because Terunofuji winning is the thing I expected to happen, but I'm looking at the mid to lower joy, like who's going to step up, like you're kind of talking about. Like this is officially what we've been talking about. Hakuho has retired. He's no longer like maybe every other Basho he's going to come in and get his Zensho Yusho. And so I'm just kind of looking to see who wants to kind of step up and which names they've had some really good performances, who is going to actually have that consistent performance to keep on moving up to the ranks. But there's also apparently I might be Dai Yokozuna. Like,
yeah.
So let's go Terunofuji. Come on.
Yeah, this one's an interesting Bansuke because like we said, there's Not a whole lot of change from the last one. There were a lot of 8-7, 7-8s. Like we said, Kiribayama is the only guy that is career high. There's nobody going for a Yokozuna promotion. There's really nobody outside of Mitaka Yumi's Zensho Yusho, Miracle Ozeki run. There's nothing really to cheer for there. So, yeah, it is kind of, I think, my same answer from last time. I want to keep an eye out on the guys in the upper joy, like Kiribayama, Wakataka Kage, Hoshoryu. Last time I wanted to see, okay, which one of these guys are going to step up, do well, take that next step. We saw Kiribayama, Wakataka Kage get winning records there. Hoshoryu kind of struggled a little bit. Let's see how these top guys do, and if they can turn into we're not currently seeing the next Ozeki and next Yokozuna. Maybe these guys, as they mature, get more experience up there. Maybe they are the ones turning into them.
Those are the two like main Kiribayama. I think it was Meisei, like the two people who had like a winning record and they kind of went up. So it's kind of like in their whether or not they can do it again is kind of like a big question.
Keep the consistency there, get the reps, and then eventually turn those into 10-win tournaments, 11-win tournaments.
Yep.
I think the theme that I'm kind of noticing is that this Basho itself doesn't feel super important, but it feels like we're all focusing on like the multiple tournament storylines here.
Yeah.
So yeah, whatever. Kyushu, I don't care. But where does it send us in the future is kind of where we're looking, it seems like.
Yeah, this really does feel like I don't have a whole lot of hype for this Basho like being exciting or
specifically
anything.
The Basho itself.
Yeah, specifically the Basho itself. It could set up some exciting things based on what's happening, but this Basho itself, like there's other ones, like we came into Hatsu and like Teruno Fuji was on a roll. Takakeisho was just coming off of a Yusho. He could become a Yokozuna. We had Hakuho and Kakuryu, who at that time were like, okay, if they don't perform, they have to get kicked out of Sumo. They didn't, and they didn't, so there went that. But there's a lot of hype for that. There was just a lot of hype for all these different things coming around it that no matter what happened, something happened.
Right.
This Basho,
there's
a high potential that nothing happens.
So, yeah, exactly.
But
so we're
that's
focusing on what that means for the individuals long term. And
Right.
That's kind of cool. I
so
like that.
It could turn into like a 14-1, 14-1 playoff on the final day. That could make it more exciting, but there's no going to be long-term payoff in this tournament, which that's a lot of stuff that I know Jake and I kind of focus on, like the long-term stuff. I think Mac and Flair do as well, but I know.
Yeah.
I want to be entertained.
This isn't your WrestleMania Basho. This is like your what's a minor one. This is like your Fast Lane or your
Money in the Bank.
Even that, exactly. Money in the Bank isn't the payoff. That's setting up.
Exactly.
Right? You get
Well,
so somebody's going to get the
WrestleMania
briefcase.
is also every pay-per-view in WWE is a setup pay-per-view.
Okay, fair point. But this one is more like the Money in the Bank. Who's going to get the briefcases to go into the next couple Basho or something? Yeah.
So then just throw out the briefcase full of money. I'm ready to challenge. Okay.
I'm looking forward to that ladder sumo match.
Yes.
So this will be just like a nice, cozy, comfy Basho. Sit back and watch. Not a whole lot of stakes. Just enjoy the sumo.
Sip your like hot cocoa and sake and just kind of.
The weather's starting to turn. It's getting cool. Wrap up in your blanket. Sip your hot cocoa. Watch some good sumo.
Have some comfort food sports. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. So with that, that's going to wrap up this episode. You can expect our midway episode after day 8, and then our recap episode shortly after the Basho concludes.
Probably some extra stuff here and there about Vegas as well.
Yes.
We've got some hype to build, some people to talk to and stuff like that. But again, that's December 11th in Vegas, the North American Sumo Championships.
Yep. All right. So until we talk at you for the Midway Basho, stay cozy.
Bye.
Stay cozy.
Stay cozy.
Thank you for listening to Grand Sumo Breakdown. Until next time,
Throw your salt high
And keep moving forward.